Welcome to Wedding Day Podcast with your hosts, Sonja Babich, CEO of Iron Diamond Media, a leading wedding resource featuring 7 localized wedding brands across the country.
Hi everybody, Sonja here with Wedding Day Podcast. We are here in Lake Oswego. Oregon, and my co-host today is Alexis Sanabria, publisher of Oregon Wedding Day and Washington Wedding Day and California Wedding Day. And we are sitting here with our friend Danison. He is the owner and lead illustrator and just such a great human of Bowtie and Brush. Right? Yes, nailed it. And he is also the king of the dance floor.
I'm glad you didn't leave that part out.
No, it's very important. You bring the party every time.
Yes.
So thank you for being on here with us.
Of course, I'm so excited to see you guys here, and I'm happy to be on here.
Well, when you are at a party, there is a line to have you draw their attire, illustrate what they're wearing, and there's a cutoff. I remember one time you didn't know who I was. I'm like, I don't get one tonight.
Oh my God.
It was no adorable, but I'm like, well, I'll see you in Washington. But you're so popular.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think when I found that out, I try and get all the main people, but at that point I was still very new to the area, right?
Yeah.
So I just moved from Florida at that time.
And you're good. That's why they were waiting in line. They wanted to get in, But so you moved from Florida? I didn't know that.
So I was in Florida in my business for about 3 years. And then we just moved in 2025 in February to the Pacific Northwest. So.
Oh, nice. And then, so what made you move out here?
In-laws, yeah. So family, at that time, we were already visiting here for the most part, family during the holidays, and we were just touring neighborhoods because we didn't have anything planned or what to do, and we found our dream home. And with a little one too, we didn't have any family down in Florida, and so we moved up here, and it's honestly been super good for my business just because I travel everywhere, and it's allowed me to feel better about kind of just the work-life balance and
having more support.
Grandparents love spending time with her, so I'm like, hey, if you want to watch her and I can go work, and it's a good balance for me.
Yeah. So how did you get started?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I got started from my own wedding. So actually I started, so now I do more live event art and illustrations and actual guest experiences. But I started off as signage and stationery because for my own wedding, that was the only thing that I wanted to DIY, and everything else was, let's hire someone professional who knows what they're doing. But I've always been artistic. And so I wanted to do my own wedding, and the vendors, I fell in love with them, my photographer, my planner, and they asked me, do I do this on the side?
Right.
And so I never really considered it, but they kind of nudged me to do it. And then when I got my photos back and people were starting to ask, oh, can you do this for my wedding? So it started to snowball into that and became that. And I did that for a while. But I was missing the people person. You two know that I'm a chatter. And I love talking to people. I love performing. I had a theater background. So I was missing that person connection with the couple and that interaction that I wasn't getting when I did invitations.
Right.
Love my invitation people, stationers, but in my soul I was missing something.
Yeah.
And luckily a bride actually just showed me a video and asked me hey, can you do this? The illustration part. And I was very new, so I was saying yes to literally anything. It's if you want to pay me, I could figure that out. And I fell in love with it so much. Just interacting with them the day of, and just creating artwork, but still having that people aspect. So that full experience was something that really drew me to the live event art.
That's awesome.
And you do watercolor.
Yes.
Right? And it's watercolor and pens, isn't it?
So I do a mix of watercolor, brush pens, and true natural watercolor, but I have water brushes and everything is all water-based.
Are you self-taught?
Self-taught. Yeah. I'm actually an accountant.
Yeah.
In terms of my background, my true background, I'm an accountant by trade, but everything I've learned in
That lends itself well to having your own business. So.
Yes, exactly. I think it definitely spearheaded me like to actually create something sustainable. So like I still have the art stuff and the creative brain, but still knowing how to run a business, and it's hard, but a lot easier, I think, with my background. So
Yeah.
So when you say like an illustrator, sometimes I feel like it's like a cartoon more when you hear the word illustrator. Do you have to like help paint that picture sometimes when they reach out to you? Like, I'm not going to do the big giant heads.
Oh my gosh, all the time. And it makes me cringe so much when a guest comes over and says, I heard you were doing caricature. Or like after I explain it, it's like, oh, a character. And I'm just like, ooh.
I know, you cringe.
Not quite. And like caricature artist is a great art form, and so many, like I can't do it. Like, but
it's just not what you do.
Exactly. And like when it comes to a wedding, everyone's like usually dressed to the nines. Like everyone is dressed up and feels like more elevated. So it's really focused on the outfit and making people feel good about themselves as opposed to like pointing out that like I have a bigger nose than everyone, or like smaller ears than the average person. And so that's what I really try to explain, is like we're really trying to create something that people feel good about themselves, like in the experience, and they tend to like walk away and feel like a sense of like that they feel better about themselves.
So speaking of wardrobe, before we got started today, I had to come out and see like, okay, what's Danison wearing? Because you have a signature color, and I wanted to make sure, like, tell me about your own wardrobe and like how you present yourself when you're at a wedding and with your couples. And
of course. So, I mean, that kind of ties into like my name of my company, Bowtie and Brush. I actually learned how to tie a bow tie prior to a regular tie.
And that's
like, this is fully tied. I can do it without looking in the mirror. You don't need to do that right now.
No, I'm like,
but,
I
could. But yeah, so I've always loved dressing up, and like a bow tie made sense, especially in the wedding industry, because like it's pretty much a lot of like the one time a groom would wear a bow tie in his life,
right?
Just because it's really black tie and elevated typically, and then my signature color is green. Like majority of my wardrobe is green. My coffee cup is green.
And you live in Oregon. It's so green.
Everything is green. Where I live is green. We actually even just bought a couch, and like it's my brand color. And it was, of
course it is.
But it's just such a calming color, and then just like the psychology behind it of like attracting money, but like also grounded, and it just makes people feel like closer to nature and happy. But really the biggest part, because we're in weddings and we all care about our aesthetics and all of that stuff. And so if I were to choose a like bright color or anything, it's like color theory, but at any wedding, there's going to be florals. And like, even if people don't want to pay for like balloons and stuff, they usually go for greenery. So anytime I would get like pictures of myself or weddings back, if I wanted to post them, I want to be able to post them, but then sometimes what I hear from other professionals is like, I can't post it because it doesn't really fit in my feed.
Right.
But now that there's a touch of green on anything, so it's just such a universal color, and also I look good in it. That's the true answer. I chose green because I look good in it.
That's so fun. So, okay, let's go like to the listeners, like the engaged couples. They want to have you. What are like the common questions like they start the process when they reach out to you? Like, I wouldn't even know where to begin. Like, how long have you been doing this? Like, how do I know that you're going to do a good job? Or like, what do I expect when you show up on my wedding day?
Yeah, I mean, I think really if they're looking for a guest experience, so guest favors are like the plain boring ones, that's like out. Like people and like the couples that I really work with are very intentional and don't want to create like waste. And through live art, especially with what I do, I focus on the guest experience. It's truly something that's created for people if they want it, right? And so a lot of the questions that I get is like, are you going to paint everyone? What if like no one gets it? Is it worth it then to get like a guest illustrator if not everyone has it? And my answer is it's for everyone. It's kind of like the non-music entertainment for people who don't want to be on the dance floor. And it's usually like the older folks or the people who don't actually want a physical portrait. They're like my lurkers at the table, and they're the ones who I can talk to. They're the ones who make a game out of it. So like even if they don't leave with a physical favor, they're still taking part of the experience.
They're watching and enjoying it.
And like they're the ones who are actually my hype people, and like they make a game out of it, and when they see someone's done, like they're the ones who are reaching out or telling people that they need to get it, even though they don't want it themselves. So it's like a great way to include everyone without creating waste.
Speaking of the dance floor, we love, you know, our first time meeting you was last year at Best Of, and we just like were so enamored with your energy.
Yes, right? I'm like, who is this?
And so like, I just want to know like how many times at a wedding does a couple get to have that experience with you? Or is that like never, that's reserved for like the vendor crowd? Because if they don't get to have that part, I feel like they're just so missing out.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I totally offer it with them. And so I've done that with a couple like weddings where I've connected with like the bride and the groom. And so they asked me like, what song do you want to come dance to? And so when that song plays, I go in and I dance with them on the dance floor. And like that's also such a big part that like I want to tell couples to do is like it typically for this guest experience where I focus, it's really about also the personality of the artist. So really choosing the style that you want and also the personality that you want to trust with interacting with your guests, right? Like you want it to make it feel like, because you're not going to be there all the time. So you want someone to have that warm and energetic personality to really invite guests into the full experience. But yes, usually I will always, on occasion.
I'm pretty sure our song is the same song. I'm pretty sure it's to Shut Up and Dance with Me.
Exactly.
So let's do timeline when you're doing the illustration, right? Like what from like, okay, you get the picture of them, what they're wearing, and then you draw them. Do they pick it up later at the end of the wedding? Like what's that like process?
Gotcha. Yeah. So typically we start at cocktail hour and we line up by the bar and start taking photos, mainly because I want people to enjoy the cocktail hour and be able to talk. So at least how I do it is I will take a photo and then they're free to roam about. And usually around like reception or definitely by the end of the night, they'll be able to pick it up. And then also if they don't either pick it up or they forget it or I have to complete it back at the studio just because I can only paint so many. Right?
Yeah, I was just going to say, what's the average you usually do a wedding?
Ooh, I mean, it depends on hour, but like in an hour I can do about 20 guests.
Okay. Wow.
So
that's impressive.
Usually the longest package that like I offer is like a 6 hour. So that's about 120 people that paint. But then also if people wear like more black like or solid patterns, that can be upwards of like 140 just because it's quicker as opposed to dealing like a lot of florals or like details and stuff. So that's also a very important thing because artists and depending on their styles determines like how many people they can actually get through.
Could a couple ask you like, oh, can you just do, and for, you know, lack of better terminology, can you just do black and whites? Like sketches?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also black and white sketches, but then I also do wine color portraits. So we're in Oregon, wine country, and so I do that with vineyards and stuff. So like very monochromatic, and I actually use like wine based. I use the wine of the vineyards to actually paint.
As your ink.
Oh, that's super cool. I love that. Okay, one other idea or question, like I'm sure you want the couple to walk away with their drawing, right? Their illustration. Like, is there a point of the night you're like, okay, now it's just time to focus on the couple so they at least can walk away with that for the night?
Well, that's actually the first one I do.
So
one, I arrive there early and I take a picture and they actually get more, like at least with me, they get more of a detailed portrait. So they get the fashion illustration, but they get like the background in terms of like the ceremony and all this stuff or whatever when we talk about it. And so that adds another touch point for when guests come. We use it as an example, and then they're like, oh my gosh, that was so quick. They just got married. And like, that just happened. And like, by the time it's cocktail hour, then, and then they get a little frame from me too. So.
Do couples ever ask for like a copy? Can I get like everyone's like from the night sketch? Has anybody ever asked for that? Because I imagine that would be like
that's kind of cool.
A keepsake. I don't know.
So what I also do that not many other artists do is like I scan each of our portraits that we create, and I actually scan them in, and then I remove the backgrounds and I create like this digital poster of the couple in the middle, and then surrounded by all the fashion illustrations of their guests, because they don't get to see it.
Yeah.
And I was getting that feedback, and it's kind of a disservice because like they're creating this experience, and now they have like a full keepsake of seeing. It's kind of like a fashionable like group portrait or like picture that like sometimes never actually happens or turns out, and like they're not.
It's a glorified collage.
Exactly. And so and everyone's been super loving it, and
Is that something kind of new, or like you've been doing that since the beginning, or
very new?
Okay.
So probably this past end of 2025. So, but everyone's been doing it, and sorry to all the couples who it just came to me, and now like all my couples were like, I wish you did that because that would have been so cool. So,
well, I can't wait to see one of those.
Yes, maybe for one of the upcoming events.
Okay, so wedding MBA. But that's the thing with your drawings, it's so fashion forward, and that's so cool. So when a couple reaches out to you, do they say, oh, I only want you to do this many, or they're like, I want you to draw every single attendee?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. Obviously, when they say they want to do every single attendee, obviously I want to create art that people will keep. And so, like, I'm never going to force anyone to get it, but I'm always very encouraging, and generally around like 80% of the guest counts typically will get one.
Participate.
So,
What is the largest wedding that you've done?
Not yet, but I'll let you know. You can follow me and message me how it goes. But this next month, I'm actually going to be doing a 400-person wedding.
Woohoo! You're going to be so popular.
So we're very excited.
But you have an assistant that is there helping, right?
Yes. So that's also why. So that allows me to really focus on it. I know some artists do just themselves, but I really want the guest experience to really keep flowing and getting as many portraits out there during the day of, because there is an added value to getting it by the end of the night and seeing that reaction.
Like you are like literally drawing the whole time every time I see you.
Yeah.
And then your assistant is just grabbing the shot and like, yep, one more, yep. And you're just drawing, but that's the part of it's so cool to have you a part of the event. You bring that energy.
Yeah.
And like something to watch. Like, oh, look at that one that he just drew.
Yeah.
You know.
It's also fun to try and pick out like, who is that?
Oh, yeah.
Who's got that dress?
My favorite is when it's like a black and white event, like black tie, and everyone's just in black and white, and you can pretty much always tell from the dress of the lady, but then the men who are always in just like the black suits, like, how do I know that's me? And then I was like, I know it's you because you have the best black suit. But don't tell anyone.
Or best bow tie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know you would catch that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you could tell couples like your favorite part of the wedding day that like fills your cup, why you do this, what would that be?
It's truly the interactions and the stories that I hear from people. Like for couples, that everyone loves this type of activation, and so being able to share that experience and hear how much that they love the couple, and they're like, oh, this is so them, like of course they would think of this, but sharing that interaction and knowing and hearing the feedback, like, oh, this is going to go on our mantle, this is going to be framed. And so the idea that the couple, when they're traveling or visiting these homes of the people that they invited to like the most intimate part of their day, when they go to that home, they'll see a memento.
Yeah.
And as opposed to just like, I mean, love my live painters and like a large thing, but like now it's just kind of like connected pieces of art in people's homes that just are spread, because like that's just all the connections that we have.
Yes.
Well, you're in my home. Oh, well, thanks for coming on the couch with us today and being on the podcast. I'm just so excited to share you with the whole world, because you're just amazing. Your energy is contagious, and you just have the best heart. So
Likewise, I love it. So thank you so much for having me.
yeah. Well, thanks for tuning into Wedding Day Podcast. We'll see you next time. See you. Bye.